Oh, vlog day. Don't know what I'm doing. Okay. How does it look? Not good.
Not good.
Where's the best light? We're good?
Or we can come up right here.
Oh, that's not bad.
Log tester.
Better. What if we take this boy?
Oh, cute.
Oh, let's turn it. Get. Oh, that'll work.
Money. Okay, we might need to adjust the settings.
Yeah, let's just adjust some settings real quick. No, I think it's good. Let me should turn it like that a little bit more. What up? All right.
What up?
Okay.
Yeah, start over.
Yeah, we can start over as many times as we need.
Right. Oh, are you sitting this far back?
No.
That's awful. I feel like I think we need to turn this if you just turn the camera.
Alright. There we go.
What up, friends? We're Allie and Clay, VK. And welcome to our first vlog. Yeah. So we wanted to hop on here and just update you guys. We're moving to the North Shore of Oahu on September 7th. So we just kind of wanted to walk through what the process has looked like for us in this transition phase and why we want to move to Oahu and just all the hurdles that we faced so far. So yeah, let's dive into it.
Roll the fancy intro. Alright, so we're going to start off with why are we moving to Hawaii? What's the vision there? Why did we pick the North Shore? So we're going to go through that a little bit. But just for a history lesson, I guess, my parents taught in Hawaii for about 5-ish years on the Big Island and grew up with that kind of lifestyle. And so my dream has always been to move back to Hawaii. I'd say back even though I hadn't gone until our honeymoon. But I've always wanted to live that lifestyle, see the culture, live near the ocean, and we just have a big appreciation for nature and especially the ocean. And so that's been the dream. And as soon as I met Allie, one of the first things she told me was that she also wanted to move to Hawaii.
Oh, sorry, Abby.
Anyways. And so we decided that we wanted to make that happen, and so here we are, year 2 of marriage, after a year being married in college, and then a year outside working, saving up a little bit of money, ready to move to Hawaii. So we're really excited about the timing of everything coming together, and we'll walk you guys through some of the pieces of the journey that we've overcame so far. Okay, so some of Okay, so to give you guys a look at what Hawaii is going to look like for us, when we decided that we were moving to Hawaii, we knew that we wanted to be on the North Shore, but we're also fine with Kailua, kind of our 2 favorite areas from when we went for a honeymoon. But obviously there's a lot more than just where you're living, and so about 6 to 8 months ago, maybe even more than that when we decided, a big part of it was jobs. And so we both decided that jobs are going to look a little different than what they did this past year. So we're going to go through that a little bit. And then obviously, you know, figuring out housing, where are we going to live, getting that secured, getting a car over there. We wrestled with what were we going to do for a car, were we going to ship ours over there, what does that process look like, which we'll walk you through that as well. And then, you know, there's just so many other pieces that we'll kind of walk you guys through as we do this journey. We're in a good spot now where we feel good about, you know, we've already done a little bit. And so Allie's going to walk you through one of the first steps we did, and that is car.
So we wrestled a lot with whether we wanted to ship a car over to Hawaii, or we even threw out the idea of just getting mopeds and doing that for a while over there. But we decided we really wanted Clay's 4Runner over there, and we wanted to just do what we could to make that happen. So we started looking into, okay, what does the process look like to ship a car? How expensive is it? And it turns out it's pretty inexpensive compared to like buying a car on the island, so we opted for that route. There's basically two main shipping companies that ship the car from like a port like LA or Oregon over to Honolulu, and those are called Matson and Pasha. So those are the two big main ones. So we had the option of driving our car to LA to the port, and then just going through one of those big companies and having them just transport it over to Hawaii. But just with being in Michigan and then Indiana right now, that was just going to be a long trip to drive it over there. Plus, when you ship your car, you can't have anything in it, so we're not able to take any of our stuff over in our car. It had to be completely cleaned out, detailed basically. So it just didn't make sense for us to drive it over there and then catch a flight back. And if we shipped it from there and then just flew to Hawaii from LA, our car wouldn't have been there for a while. So we opted for to use a broker company, and basically what that looks like is there's literally thousands of basically middlemen companies that will pick up your car in wherever you're located and then drive it to the port and then load it onto one of those two big ships, the Matson or the Pasha. So we started doing a lot of research into those, and I found one that I thought looked super great. It was called Hawaii Car Transport. Do not recommend. They sounded great. They would always like answer our calls when we were trying to book it and get more information. And so we were like, yeah, this sounds awesome. They pop up as, you know, one of the top companies in the search engines and everything. So I made a call with this guy and we booked it for them to pick up our car. And then he said he was going to send us a confirmation email, and we waited a few days later, and we still hadn't gotten any confirmation email. And then I, started feeling a little bit suspicious, so I stumbled onto some really nasty Yelp reviews that were basically like, do not trust this company, they totaled our car, they took all our money, and like our car, our car didn't even end up in Hawaii, or it ended up like in pieces. So immediately our hearts just sank, and we're like, oh gosh, we already gave them like our card number, everything. So we tried to call them and cancel, and after you book with them, basically they ignore all of your calls, ignore your emails, everything. So we kind of panicked a little bit, but we thought the smartest thing to do would be to cancel that debit card that we had given them, just so that they couldn't charge us at all. So we had to go into the bank, cancel that, get new cards and everything, but that just ensured that they wouldn't, take all of our money and scam us basically. And then we kept calling the guy, sent emails saying we have to cancel our order. We never even got the confirmation, so there was no way for us to cancel it online or anything, because we basically didn't even have proof of our booking. They just had like all of our info basically. Anyways, the guy finally ended up getting back to us and said your order's been canceled, and they didn't charge us anything. So that was a kind of scary moment. And then we were just, feeling frustrated, and we were like, you know what, maybe we look into just getting mopeds over there. But then you can kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so for a while we were thinking, well, maybe it's just cheaper to do some mopeds. We actually decided not to, just because you can't ride a moped with two people in Hawaii. And if you want one that's big enough to ride with two people, you have to have motorcycle licenses. And when we got down to it, it was like, you know what, this is going to be so much work. We're not going to be able to drive people around when they're here. It just wasn't ideal. So we decided against the mopeds, which is a good idea. But we ended up finding a place where we locked it down. They actually picked up our car. It's through Motway. And so Motway had a truck driver come pick up our car from our home about 4 or 5 days after we booked them, and they shipped it over or trucked it over to Long Beach, and then from there it was thrown on a boat with Madsen, and is now actually in Honolulu already, which is a whole nother thing. They actually ended up shipping our car over too early, and so as of right now we're working on having either someone pick it up on the island for us, or we will have to try to fight it with Madsen. So we will keep you updated on that with some finger guns. So that is what the car situation looks like. But as of right now, just to give you a look at the finances as well, if you are looking just to ship from port to port with Madsen or Pasha, It's usually around $1,600 on average. That's about the cost to ship with Madsen or Pasha, not from port to port. So if they had sent someone, one of their own guys, to come pick it up via truck, it was going to be close to $3,600. But if you go through one of these brokers like Madsen, we actually ended, I think it was about $2,800 by the end. So that's, you know, about how much it looks. So if you're watching this wondering if it's possible for you, just, you know, there's some of the costs to expect with shipping a car over there. Definitely something to consider. But
yeah,
is where we're at.
Number one recommendation to kind of sum it all up, if you do live close to the West Coast, I had to use my fingers, it's definitely cheapest to go port to port. So just take it to the port yourself, go through Pasha or Madsen. They'll take great care of you. If you are like in the Midwest like us, or over on the other side of the country, I definitely recommend going through a broker. Just make sure that it is accredited. You can check it out on BBB to make sure it's a legit company. Again, don't use Hawaii Car Transport. We've had a great experience pretty much with Madsen so far, so that's one that we would definitely recommend.
All right, for boring you out, I'm sorry. Take a breather. All right. Here we go. So next up is housing. So for us, housing was a little bit tricky because when you're not on the island, a lot of people don't necessarily want to rent to you as much as someone that's local already. And so that was one aspect of it that was a problem. It also is difficult when you can't actually go in and see places and meet the people there, let alone, you know, all of the people trying to scam. Usually those are all over places like maybe Facebook, or especially like Craigslist or anything off, like an offshoot like that. But we tried to look through Trulia or Zillow, the same. So we try to spend most of our time looking there just because it's going to be official. But our jobs also made it a little bit tricky, which we'll talk about in a second. But not having super secure jobs also, you know, gets tricky when we're trying to get a lease. And so we spent a lot of time. We ended up finding a family that we loved on the North Shore in Wailua, that we loved the area. It seemed like a perfect fit. And that ended up falling through, which was super disappointing. It was month to month, you know, pretty difficult. And, you know, I would say if you're looking to go to Hawaii or anywhere like this, you know, there's going to be a lot of obstacles and bumps. If it was easy, I think everyone would do it. But it was definitely super difficult. And so that was the first time we kind of got rejected from somewhere that we loved. And so from there, we just kept looking, and then we ended up spending some time looking in Kailua, and we found another place, went through, you know, a Zoom call with them, saw the place, loved it, felt like we were a perfect fit, and then got denied again. So,
and both times we were beat out by someone who looked at it like the same day as us, but in person. So that was kind of the main reason for not being the first choice for them to choose.
Yeah, not being local, and we're obviously looking for a shorter lease just because we want to see the place, feel it out before we commit for a long time. So that was some of the obstacles we found, but we actually officially, as of 2 days ago or yesterday, I don't remember, we officially have a home. So we are super excited about that. We are in Wailua on the North Shore. After the second denial, we ended up going up and just looking back up on the North Shore where we really wanted to be. And we are super excited about the family, the people that we're going to be staying with. We do not have pictures or anything yet. We've seen them. They just aren't up. And so once we get over there, we will be giving you guys a little walkthrough, showing you the place. But we are very excited. It's a walk into our favorite town, Kailua. Sorry, not Kailua.
Haleiwa. It's like 5 minutes from where we stayed on our honeymoon, so we're super familiar with it. And I just want to touch a little bit on like our faith. This whole housing journey definitely tested our trust in God, and it really felt like with those first two places that He was opening that door, and then just to get denied, I feel like we were struggling a little bit there. Like, God, I don't understand. This felt so perfect. But then in the end, you know, looking back, he brought us to the cheapest place that we were able to find. So for financial wise, like we were open to going as high as like $2,800 for places. Obviously that's a lot higher than we were paying in Michigan or Indiana, things like that. But the Lord ended up bringing us to a place that's $1,900, utilities and everything included, which on Hawaii, utilities can end up being, you know, $500 to $600 extra. So this place has everything included, and the community that we're going to be in, it's on like a farm property with other people living in different houses on the property. And from what we've heard so far, everyone there is believers. The lady that showed us the place through FaceTime just threw it out there like, we'd love to take you guys to church with us when you get here if you're into that sort of thing. And that was just a huge God thing where we were like, yeah, like we've been looking into churches on the North Shore, and I just think it's going to be an awesome connection, and just it definitely gives us peace of mind knowing that God brought us to the perfect place surrounded by like-minded people. So just wanted to throw that in there, that even if you're struggling, you know, to trust God through certain things, he always knows what's best for you and is ultimately going to bring you to a place that's best.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that is our house. We're excited to show you guys and walk you through that once we are there. But as of right now, we're just stoked about it, and so couldn't be more excited. It'll be super fun. So last thing that we have, jobs. And obviously I said jobs impacted, you know, our housing search a little bit because
we don't have any.
Yeah, we don't have any. That's right. Yeah, we don't have any jobs. And yeah, so that will feel good once we get a job. But this past year I was a math teacher. Shout out to my 8th grade middle schoolers, you guys.
Yeah,
Are sick.
TPH.
Miss you guys. But going to Hawaii, I just decided, you know, I was spending easily 12 hours a day, if not more, away from home, working on lesson planning, doing all of that. And in Hawaii, I want to just be able to enjoy it. I need to get out in nature and, you know, experience Hawaii. And so I ended up deciding not to teach this year. I'm looking forward to potentially going back eventually, but I kind of changed routes and went to web development. I've loved coding my entire life. Well, not my entire life, I guess, probably since high school, since I was old enough to understand it. But I've been working on, you know, getting used to, you know, what does that look like to be a web developer? What languages do I need to learn? And you good?
I hate bees.
All right. Going back, I am working on the web development and just learning everything that I need to know to lock down a job like that. So I'm planning on, you know, practicing, studying, building apps, websites for another couple weeks, just preparing for a job. And then in a couple weeks I'll start interviewing, which will be nice because those jobs are typically remote. And so I'll keep you guys updated on what that looks like, but very excited about, you know, having a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more freedom. And so that's what I'm working on right now. For Allie, I'll let her talk about her job a little bit.
Yeah, so this past year in Michigan, I was a health coach and a clinic manager at like a weight loss clinic. My background's in like nutrition, exercise coaching, so I loved doing that. Whoa, sorry. They're huge. So I love doing that sort of thing. So I've been looking a lot for remote health coaching jobs and thought I had a really good lead for actually a Christian company. And then the guy that I interviewed with just ghosted me, so that was kind of rough. So since then I've kind of taken a step back because I just wasn't finding great... What? Okay.
I'm very good at this. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. I'll learn. Okay. Hey, friends. I'll look at you now. So what was I saying?
You got ghosted.
Yeah, so I got ghosted, which was pretty tough. I took a kind of a step back from that, and in this kind of transitional season, over the past like 3 months, I started a photography business. So shout out to VK Film and Photo Studios. He helps me with the Super 8. I do the photography. So I've been trying to grow that a lot, and I love it. So that is kind of my dream for what I will do more long term in Hawaii. I'd love to build towards weddings, but right now I do a lot of families, couples, engagements, some elopements, things like that. So that is kind of the main thing that I'll be doing in Hawaii. And then if I'm not able to find like a health coaching position or anything remote or in person, I'd love to just work at a coffee shop, acai bowl place, just anything like that. So since 2 days ago when we finally knew that we were going to be on the North Shore. I've reached out to a lot of different like coffee shops and things like that, and we'll hopefully, you know, get a job there just to start out with, part-time or full-time. But Clay's job looks like it's going to be hopefully higher paying than teaching, so we should be set, but it'll be easier for me to find just like a chill job like that, at least to start off with, and I can keep looking when we get there for other health coaching jobs.
Yeah, so there's our jobs, and that's kind of a wrap on all of the details that we've gone through so far. We will make more of these videos and continue to walk you guys through it. Hopefully, you know, especially once we get to Hawaii, we'll start to add some cooler videos, drone footage, you know, let you guys kind of see a little bit into our eyes. But right now, you're not going to see a whole lot because you literally only have Indiana, so figured it wasn't super worth it. But we do have you know, Super 8 film that we'll be posting on our YouTube, you know, different videos we make, things like that, so feel free to check those out. We also did get a bunch of questions that we are going to answer. I don't know if we want to do this now.
I'll just touch on a couple. Alright, so first step, one question that I want to touch on that we got, and that was whether the Maui fires are impacting us in any way for our move. And I mean, obviously that's been a very devastating thing to hear about and see. Since we are moving to Oahu, there hasn't been any fires on that island, so as far as that goes, that hasn't really changed anything for us. But yeah, definitely something to be, you know, aware of. Hawaii is a more dangerous place to live with hurricanes and fires and everything like that. So we're going into it, you know, expecting that there might be things like that arise, and just still going anyway.
Yeah, we're definitely blessed that, you know, Oahu is free from that, and it's definitely something to pray about too. As we're moving, there's a lot of people that are displaced from their homes, from the different places that were affected, and so I think it's an interesting time to be moving there, but something to definitely be praying about for all those families, because it is a really serious thing, and there's a lot of people that are affected that are living on Oahu now because their homes were burnt down overnight. And so it's not something, you know, that we're taking lightly. It's definitely a big, serious thing, but something that we also hope that as we're moving, maybe we can help out, get involved in a church that can help out, and we want to be a part of that as well. But yeah, as for our plans, it's not affecting them. We're still moving forward.
Yep, and then to end on just like a lighter note, another question we got was things that we're excited to do in Hawaii. So just to name a few, surfing's huge, that we both, Clay already surfs, but I want to get better at it, and that's probably the first purchase we'll get, will be a surfboard. Another thing that Clay's been dying to get into is spearfishing. So if there's any spearfishers out there, hit us up because we would love to go with you.
Yeah, I have no idea how to do it. I've just watched a butt ton of YouTube videos, so I need somebody to help walk me through it. So if you know of anybody that knows how to spearfish really well, send them my way. I need help, but I would love to catch some fresh fish, bring it home.
I'd love to also, I don't know if this is possible with where we're living, but get into like gardening or join like a co-op so that we can just be really in tune with like growing our own food. There's a ton of, what am I trying to say? Fruit trees and animals and stuff like on the property that we're staying, so that'll be fun to be able to live a little bit more off the land, spear some fish for dinner. So yeah, that's just two. There's also incredible hikes on Oahu, so we can't wait to go on hikes and then just beach it up pretty much every day when we get done working. So
yeah, and we'll keep making these to share that with you. So if you want to follow us along on this crazy journey, I don't know what you say for YouTube. I think you like and subscribe or something.
Yeah,
feel free to just follow us along, do whatever, hype us up. Yeah, we could use a little bit of love. It's definitely a crazy transition time, so the more hype we get, the more people that are following us, I think the better we feel about it. But it's up to you. You don't have to. I'm not going to make you. But yeah, so anyways, there's our first video done. It's going to get better from here. So long, suckers. How awkward were we?
On a scale from, would that ever happen to you? When you're making a vlog and then all of a sudden the bees are attacking you and then all of a sudden your neighbor walks by. Does that ever happen to you? Today with Dr. Cooper's Fun with Flags.